There. Hey, good to see you. I'm here with Miss Romaine, who is General Counsel for Progress Residential, one of the nation's largest providers of high quality single family rental homes. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule because I know you're busy. And I just appreciate you being able to help our local people understand what's going on. Well, in recent years, our local Southern Crescent community, particularly Henry County, we've seen exponential growth. Well, we've become the fastest growing county in Georgia. Well, longtime residents have seen a change in the semi-rural areas. They've become densely populated with these multi-family apartments, townhomes, and houses that are built to attract mainly renters instead of home buyers. And so I just wanted to ask you, from your perspective, if you could tell me what are the benefits to local communities who might see single family or multi-family rental units as attractive only to a transient population, people who are not yet fully moved into the area long term, but are just only there for a short time. What do you say to that?
First, I'd like to start by thanking Representative Hawley for including me in this conversation. First, let's start by busting that myth. Fundamentally, when people resist the idea of renters in their communities, it tends to be a signal of anti-renter bias. There are times in our life where renting is an entirely appropriate choice. Progress is committed to ensuring that renters have access to the communities where they want to live, and they should have access to the same homes and communities as those who can afford or who choose to buy. And we are committed to ensuring that everyone has the option to live in a single-family home that meets their needs at whatever stage of life they're in. Rental homes, as you and I spoke about recently, are an important part of the housing ecosystem because the reality is not everyone has the financial resources for a down payment, and the timing is not always right to purchase a home. If you're a new student who's just graduated from college, if you've just moved to a new community, those are just two examples of times when it's entirely legitimate that you would choose to rent instead of purchasing. And when you make that choice, you should have the ability to live in any community that you choose that works for you. In the end, everyone should have choices about where they want to live, and that includes the option to live in single-family homes with a yard and neighborhoods with access to good schools, transportation, and amenities.
Thank you for saying that. As you also know, Georgia, we've got an extreme housing shortage, almost 43,000 houses short, and that's just within our metro area. How will rental housing better help local families to build wealth one day, to be in the position to purchase a home, should that be an option for them to consider?
So you and I had a great discussion recently about the need to build wealth in our communities. And as your question alludes to, one of the real challenges that we face in this country is the lack of supply of housing. And that is really what's creating a lot of the downward pressure on home ownership. But even if we set that aside for a second, I think that an honest conversation requires us to talk about what are the barriers to building wealth. And as you and I talked about recently, high interest rates, low wages, high debt. These are the things that make it difficult for people to be able to purchase homes. And, if you're working a minimum wage job, that makes it almost impossible to be able to save for a down payment. Similarly, if you have if you're graduating from college, and you have a lot of student loan debt, and we know that students are graduating with more debt today than they ever have before, that is a true impediment to wealth creation. And high interest rates, people are credit blind. People have, if you don't have good credit, that makes it difficult to be able to access loans that are with good interest rates, which actually make home ownership accessible and affordable and sensible. And, rushing people into home ownership before they're ready is not really the solution. And castigating renting is not really the solution either. So, one of the things I'm really proud about here at Progress is that we have provided tools. Not only are we giving people access to homes in opportunity communities of opportunity, we also provide tools that actually help people to build financial financial health. For example, positive rent reporting, of on-time rent payments to all 3 credit bureaus. These are the types of things that can actually make people, position people well to be able to own homes when they're ready. And in the meantime, if they choose not to, renting gives you more choices about what you want to do with your disposable income. And so from my own personal experience, there are times where I've rented, times where I've owned, and I can say unequivocally that renting has never been a barrier to my ability to purchase a home.
That's good. You're coming at this as both a renter and an owner. So thank you for sharing your own personal insights on this. Just curious, from your knowledge, does your company, Progress Residential, have any properties in Henry County? And if so, or if not, typically, what might make an area attractive for properties to be developed there? Just from what you've seen.
I'm also excited to share that, or at least happy that we currently manage just over 2,000 homes in Henry County. Henry County, like the other places where we manage homes, is one that has good schools and access to other amenities that people value. And as I said, we are really committed to providing homes in places where people want to live. For the counties, we are actually dispersed throughout the county, but 4 of the subdivisions where we have the most homes are Hamilton Point, City Square, Liberty Grove, and Patriots Point. Delighted to be a part of your community. Look forward to working with you. And again, just really excited to be a part of this conversation.
Well, thank you again, Ms. Romaine, for taking time to speak with us, and I won't hold you any further. I just want to know, is there anything you wish to say to our residents, anything at all?
In closing, I want to thank you for this opportunity. To close today, I just want to reinforce the point that I've made earlier, and that is that single families are a critical part of the housing ecosystem. When we talk about single family rentals, we should think of it as a building block to enabling generational wealth, not as a block to generational wealth, because there's significant research that shows that one of the greatest determinants of a child's long-term socioeconomic success is the neighborhood they grow up in. And I'm not espousing anything that I haven't done personally and don't believe in. When I wanted to move to a neighborhood with better schools, for my kids to have access to better schools, I rented a home there for 7 years before purchasing the home that I was living in. I'm proud that Progress is a leader in expanding access to secure and stable housing and empowering our residents to live in communities of their choice, communities they may not have had access to if their only option was to purchase a home. Thanks again for having me.